I am Colonel Surinder Sagar Duggal, retired from Indian Army, and I belong to Jalandhar, Punjab. My youngest brother, name was Manmohan Sagar Duggal, and he was born in 1946 in Amritsar. He joined, like I also did, he joined National Defence Academy, and then he graduated from Indian Military Academy and got his commission. He went to the artillery. He was an artillery officer, and in Devlali School of Artillery, he was a silver gunner. The cadets or officers who pass out in their competition, so he was one of the prime cadets, so prime officer, that who got only one officer gets amongst a group of, let's say, 50 to 60 officers. So he was a silver gunner, and he was commissioned into 93 Field Regiment. In 1971, before the start of the operations, sometimes in the month of November 71, we were concentrated in a place called Baira Bulge. That Baira Bulge is just somewhere near Calcutta, between Calcutta and Krishngarh. And from there, we were asked to advance on tanks to a place called Chogacha, that is on Kabadhak River. So when we approached Kabadhak River, we were fired very heavily from the enemy side, from the far bank and at this side. So we took up positions astride the road near Chogacha village, short of the river, and fanned out on either side of the bridge. And there we engaged enemy with our whatever weapons we had, infantry weapons like machine guns, medium machine guns, and we kept him engaged throughout the day. But they had built very strong bunkers across the river line. So whatever bunkers we could see or locate, we engaged them with our recoilless guns. Recoilless guns are actually meant to take on tanks. It is an anti-tank gun, but we engaged those bunkers, and we could destroy some of them, but not all of them. But since river Kabadhak was a fast-flowing river, so it was very difficult to cross in the face of the enemy. So we waited for the evening, and then in the evening we had two companies astride engaging the enemy, kept him busy, so he did not know where we were going to strike. So two companies, we could find only one single boat. Two companies means about 200 men with their weapons. So they started in the evening, and we started crossing river Kabadhak, let's say each ferry taking about 10 to 15 men. So say within 3 to 4 hours, we were able to get across with approximately 200 men on the far bank side and on one flank. So around midnight, enemy, perhaps he got the whiff of it, and I think they decided to withdraw. But actually we did not know that he is withdrawing. So enemy sent about 15 of their men with medium machine guns, and they crossed from the bridge, they crossed the river, and they brought us under very heavy fire. And we thought the enemy has perhaps attacked. But then when we assessed the situation, we found there were only perhaps handful of weapons firing on us, and enemy was doing the delaying action by holding us back, but he did not know that what is going to hit him from the flank. So these two companies were get across the river, they took up their positions, and then they attacked village Chogacha or town Chogacha as such, and by about morning, 4 o'clock, we had captured it. Of course, by then this enemy who had crossed, they had vacated their position, they had withdrawn from their positions, and we were in complete occupation there. Now, an interesting fact which I would like to bring to your notice is that when we were attacking a day earlier, one of our tanks had been blown off by a mine, a tank mine, on the bridge, which enemy had laid on the bridge side. And the enemy aircraft, Sabers, there were 3 Sabers operating, so they thought that perhaps this is tanks. So what they were doing is that they were strafing our positions from the air, where we were, the infantry was located, but we were well dug in our trenches there. And they were trying to take on this tank, trying to shoot it with the rockets. But since they were coming very low to take on the tank, but tank was vacated. There were no troops on the tank as such because it had been abandoned. And then one of our machine gunners, he started engaging these aircraft one by one when they were strafing it or attacking it with their rockets. So by luckily, one of our machine gunners, he hit the aircraft, and we found the aircraft, the smoke coming out, flying, and all of a sudden we found that somebody had ejected from the aircraft, and he was coming down, and suddenly he found some dummy in a seat. It was actually the ejection seat. So the pilot of the aircraft, he bailed out, and he landed in our locality where he was, and his name, if I recall correctly, was Flight Lieutenant Pervez Mehdi, and a hefty Pakistani chap. He was actually a Pathan from northwest frontier. So he came we made him a prisoner, and of course, we treated him like you treat enemies, and we told him, for him, come down, for you, the war is over. So that is, in short, was the first battle of Chokacha. This is what I am telling you in hindsight. For us, as far as soldier is concerned, moment he is told to cross the border, he takes it that the battle has begun. So we were not informed by our higher-ups that the actual war has started. The war started sometimes when the Pakistani they attacked our airfields. Sometimes I think it was on 4th December or 3rd or 4th December. But perhaps these were the orders from higher-ups to help Mukti Bahini also to put pressure on the Pakistani troops. So actually, when the battle started, we do not know where the units are located, where they are going. You only come to know afterwards that they have gone into battle. So now, which I learned later, that he was fighting, he was an OP officer. OP officer is that he was OP officer with a battalion called 3 Punjab, infantry battalion, and they were dug down in a place called Shamsher Nagar. And there were other 2 battalions, 4 Kumaon and 13 Mahar. And OP officer's job is to observe the enemy activity and bring down accurate artillery fire on the enemy. So that is to help the infantry either to defend itself or when attacking to help them get across as near as possible to the enemy. So he was fighting in Sylhet sector in Shamsher Nagar. In fact, I did not know that particular time that he was wounded or he was killed in action. I only came to know much later, sometimes around 4th of December. He was actually killed on 30th of November 71, but I got to know on around 4th of December through a friend of mine who sent me a letter of condolence saying that your brother has been killed in enemy action and he's sorry for it. So, I mean, it was a shock to me. And since I was operating in another sector and we were going for an attack next morning to attack to call a place attack a place called Borinda. So previous evening when I got this letter, so naturally one gets into little shock, and there were a few tears in my eyes. But then, like a soldier, I just wiped the tears off, and I rang up my commanding officer, and just I said, I am informing you that my brother has been killed in action. I am sure wherever he is watching all this ceremony in my heart, what has happened and how the government of Bangladesh has honored him, and I am here to receive honors on his behalf. And if he was here, of course, like all soldiers, good soldiers, he would have felt very proud.